Okay, today we're going to look at trigonometry in a right angle triangle, and for that we need to use the three formulae from SOHCAHTOA. Remember, SOHCAHTOA is a word we remember to help us remember the three formulae. Okay, if we look at our picture, we've got a boat just offshore looking towards a lighthouse. The question is, how tall is the lighthouse? Well, as you can see, a right angle triangle has been superimposed on top of our picture to help us answer that question. We've been given some information. We've been given the length of this line here, 87 metres, and the angle of elevation from the tip of the boat to the top of the lighthouse is 42 degrees. Now, before we go and decide which formula to use, we need to label the sides first in our right angle triangle. Now, the 87 metres is the hypotenuse, the longest side, opposite the right angle. It's always opposite right angle. The lighthouse itself, which is the third side of the right angle triangle, or second side, depending how you look at it, is opposite the angle 42. So then we label that O, because it's opposite the angle. And the other side then is the adjacent. And adjacent means next to. So that is the side next to the angle 42 degrees. Once we've labelled the three sides, we can now work out what formula to use. We can use the three triangles that I've shown you before. These are the same little triangles we use for speed, distance and time, mass, density and volume, or any three-part formula. There's a bit of a cheat to use these. We should be able to rearrange the formula ourselves at this stage, but it can save a bit of time and give us a nice visual picture to choose the right formula. Now what we do next is we look at our diagram and we put some ticks next to the lengths in our three formulae. So we tick the length we know. Now we know the hypotenuse, so wherever I see H, I put a little tick. And we also tick the side we're trying to find. Now we're trying to find the height of the lighthouse, which happens to be opposite. So we tick O. And you can clearly see then the formula we need to use is sine. The way we use these triangles to help us save a bit of time as well is you cover up the letter you are trying to find. So we're trying to find O, the opposite side, so we cover up O, and that would leave sine times H. Now what we write down then is the thing you cover up, you put equals, and then S, which stands for sine, times the hypotenuse. But what goes with the sine is the angle. The angle that you're given always goes with the sine, the cos, or the tan. If you just write sine on its own times the hypotenuse, it doesn't make sense. You must have an angle with your sine, your cos, or your tan. Times hypotenuse. My next line, I will substitute in my hypotenuse of 87 metres. Now, the next thing to do is just simply a calculator exercise. We need to type this into the calculator. But be careful, you must make sure your calculator is in degrees because our angle is in degrees. Your calculator could be in another mode, i.e. radians or gradients. Make sure there's a little d or deg on the screen of your calculator. Okay, so if I switch to my calculator and we do sine 42, I've got to make sure I close the bracket. Some calculators do this as well. Times 87. And when we press equals, we get the answer. And I've got it in degrees up there, so I know it's in degrees. So the answer is 58.2143627568 metres. I don't need all of that. I'll round it to the nearest centimetre, which is 2 decimal places in this case, because there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So it's 58.21. So going back to my question, 58.21 metres. We must say in brackets what we rounded it to 2dp. And there's our final answer. So just quickly to recap, label the sides first. Write SOHCAHTOA in your three triangles. Tick the side you were given and the side you were trying to find. The one with two ticks is the formula you need. You cover up the thing that you were trying to find with your finger, and that will reveal what you need to do with the other two things. The thing you're covering up, you write down and then equals, and then write what is left from the the three triangles. Substitute any values you need to substitute in, and then be careful and use your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in degrees, because all angles will be usually in degrees at GCSE level. Okay, thank you very much. That's it.